Hey everybody, I thought I would document this real quick. Just a little quick observation. Check it out. Lots of little mulberries on here. This is an Illinois everbearing, and this is probably the most I've ever seen on it. Check it out. Now I had to cut this thing back really hard last year because we put a pool right here, and to level the ground right here, we piled down a whole bunch of mulch / compost, and then the dogs kept dumping the water out of here, so it was like the mulberry got more water than it's ever seen. So it like exploded with growth, which was great. And then we had a really strong windstorm in the fall, right before it dropped the leaves, and it ripped off most of the leaves and pulled the tree out of the ground. So I took these big stakes, you can see them right here, sort of. Whoops. Yeah, and then I staked it back into the ground, put it back in the ground. It looked like it lost like probably half its roots. So I wasn't sure if this thing was going to survive. But it looks like it's fine. It's just crazy. So I'm impressed. This thing can take more abuse than I thought. I was thinking that it might die, but it looks like it didn't. And wow, is that a lot of fruit? I don't think I've ever seen as much fruit on this thing. I mean, it yields a little bit, but like, I think that flush of growth that it had last year was enough to really get it in gear. So that's cool. It's starting to look like a tree now. It got way too top heavy, and it had like, I would say, more than 8 feet of growth in one season, which is really nuts. I mean, what I've seen before, it would put out like a foot, maybe 2, and it put out 8, maybe even more than that. It may have been 10. And then I ended up having to chop off like quite a lot of it because it turned itself into a sail, and it probably didn't have the underground root growth to handle that. And yeah, so I was watching the permaculture orchard guy, Steve Subkayak, the other day, and he said something really interesting, that trees put out, and like perennial plants put out 87% of their root growth over the winter. So yeah, that's surprising. only 13% is left during the growing season. I mean, what we consider the growing season, the warm months. So I don't know where I'm going with this, but maybe what happened was that it put out a whole pile of top growth, and it didn't have the roots to support it, and it blew over. But Stevens also said that after the leaves turn a different shade, after they start to turn in the fall, they send all the sugar that they've been working on back down into the roots, and then the roots spread out. So I was wondering, like, since I chopped off like tons of the top growth from this thing, I wasn't sure if it was going to come back, because, you know, the storage is on the top, and then eventually the storage is on the bottom, and I removed a lot of the storage on the top, probably at least half, maybe more. So looks like it's okay. I don't know, we have a lot of like mole / gopher activity. I mean, you can see it right there, and they were probably digging under here and weakened it a little bit, and then the wind blew it over. Oh well. Anyway, it seems like it's happy. We'll see if everything continues to grow, because I've seen before with cuttings specifically, they have enough energy to kind of like start growing and then they die. So, but it doesn't look like that's happening, and the tips still look like they're okay. I am tentatively confident that this thing is fine, which is pretty interesting. Alrighty, I'm gonna keep looking around. I'm like throwing some wood chips down wherever I can. I just got a big wood chip delivery, and that's how we feed the trees in the food forest, at least for the time being. I would like to eventually move to like a more of a chop and drop type system, and I kind of put a bunch of elements in place. I put the comfrey here, which I'm chopping, and I put the autumn olive behind here, which I'm chopping. But I think I need a little bit more. I don't know what that's going to be, but something. All right. Catch y'all later.